So I just got done going to see Dear White People. That was phenomenal. It was a really good movie. I think more people need to see it. I don't know, like it's a comedy, but it's definitely a satire. Like a lot of people criticized it for like not being a satire, but it really is. For me, yes, it was very. It wasn't really a comedy to me. Like it was very real. There were parts of it in which I feel like it was funny, but I feel like it was very honest. And in a way, it was kind of like satire because you did have like every stereotypical, I guess, kind of black person. You know, you got the person who is just trying to make it. Like you got people that are just trying to make it in the right world and are just going through the motions, whatever they have to do to kind of make it in that world. And then you have people that are strongly opposed to it. That are just this is racism, blah blah blah. And then you have this middle category that it's like, okay, I'm not black enough, to be this way. I'm not that quote unquote, I guess, radical is what we would call it. And then, I'm not down to just, sit here and just do nothing, which I think is really hard because, like, people make comments, but they don't really understand the implications of the comments that they're making, especially when, especially when you're, I think, Caucasian, sometimes people that are Caucasian don't recognize the implications of the things that they're saying. They don't realize that what they're saying is, in a way, inherently racist. It's a little like, okay, come on now.
And I think it's a movie that everyone needs to see. I don't think it's highly political, but I think it's highly, like, I feel like it's humanitarian in a way. Like, it's just so basically human, and these characters, yes, they each have their stereotypical parts. How do you, like, I think in our society, without boxes, we have nothing. Boxes to me are a limitation of the mind, but without boxes, without categories and stuff like that, we don't know how to act. We don't even know how to address people when we don't put them in a box, which is why we have, like, what do they call it? Like alphabet soup, the LGBTQ questioning blah, that was not to be, like, taken as an offensive. I fully support the LGBT community or LGBTQ community. It's just like, why do we need all these, like, labels for people? Why can't people just be people? Why do you have to be an African American? Why can't you just be American? Why do you need to be an Asian American? Why can't you just be American? I think we often complain when the issue is, I think we make issues more complicated than what they need to be.
And I don't think that we will ever, I don't know if we can ever truly solve, racism. I don't know if we'll ever truly solve, like, the definition of racism is to believe that one race is superior to another, and I think, I don't necessarily know if there's not a huge population, in my opinion, of people like that. I think everyone is slightly racist, but I don't think it's in the context of I think we need a new word, I guess, because racism is believing that one race is superior to another, and I think that, yes, there are people out there who do believe that, but I think the majority of people don't believe that one race is better than the other, Of course, everyone's partial to their own race, but I think we throw around the term race and racist and racism, very lightly without thinking about how big those terms are, what those terms actually mean, It's like in a university where they throw around the word diversity. They use it so much that the word doesn't even have meaning anymore. That, like when somebody's like, oh, that's racist, Like, I feel like we throw that word around to the point in which it has no meaning because it's been so diluted and with people just using the word so, like, abstractly and not knowing what it actually means. Yeah, this movie definitely brought, like, so much, like, as a way to start a conversation. I think this is a phenomenal movie to just start a conversation, like, to start a serious dialogue on race and race issues in America, and also within the black community, of who are we, and on both, like, just a black community level, but then also, I think, as a collective, as a whole, as in America, who are we? And then as a world, who are we? Because we all are so dynamic, so individual, Yes, there were people in the film who were really kind of stereotypical, but each of them was an individual, and they each had their own internal struggle with who they are, combined with being black, and everyone is kind of, holding themselves to a standard in which they will never achieve because of them wanting it, or because somebody told them this is what they should want. But it's a standard in which they will never achieve, and I think that really speaks to, I think, the African Americans, as in the idea that, you know, especially when you talk about the concept of double consciousness, the idea that you have to be both black but also act a different way sometimes because of the way that the world perceives you. You know, I don't know. It's a very complex, like the things that are brought up in this movie are highly, highly complex issues that I love the way that he ends it, because there is no solution, there is no happy ending. It's something that we as a society are constantly going to be working and striving for, you know, for solutions, you know. But I think if we don't have a serious dialogue on race, all we do is drive it on race and racism is all we do is drive it deeper and deeper into the ground, you know. And I think also it's also, we also need to recognize that, you know, colored people just as well as white people have a place on this earth, and we need to work together. That one group shouldn't be trying to dominate over another group, that we should be able to be equal. How we do that means that one group can't want to dominate over another group. You know, like white people can't dominate, and then black people can't rise up just to dominate over them, just to make up for the time that was lost. It's like we just need to be equal at a point. And also, I think we need to understand, you know, what's going to satisfy the need. At what point? I mean, I think sometimes we're fighting a battle, but at what point are we going to be satisfied? You know, I think the question for me is like, just looking at all the things going on in the world, and you know, and the kind of things I'm noticing. The question that I have for black people is, at what point are you going to be satisfied? What do you have to be given in order for you to be satisfied? You know, like that's a very big question. You know, I think that's a very individual question. But I mean, I feel like we have these movements that are happening, and it's like, what are these people striving for? Like, I don't even know. Like, what do you want? I don't know. Like, can you articulate what it is that you want? You know, at what point are you going to be satisfied? At what point are you going to feel equal? You know, is it redistribution of wealth? Is it that you want the exact same things that Billy Bob has? You know, and I think also you need to be willing to put in the work and not just count activism. Activism is work, but I think it goes beyond activism. You know, but we all need to be striving for equality. Go see dear white people. End of story.
So, dear white people, I'm going to try and keep this like short and simple, sweet, and to the point. It was a wonderful film. I think people on both sides. I think, yeah, the title is a bit like abrasive, but I think both white people and black people need to see this movie, because yes, it makes a comment about, you know, I guess white perception of blacks and black culture, but it also, I think, is really good for black people to see, because it has a lot of the idea of like double consciousness, the internal struggle, what it means to be black, and what does it mean to be black for you, and can you be black and be the best version of who you are. Also the issue of being biracial, you know, and like how, you know, you tackle that. Also, there's so many poignant things going on in there, but I think also really the timing of the movie is really like, I don't know, like perfect almost, because we're at a time in American history where race relations are crap, to say the least. And this movie talks about kind of the struggle of being black and educated, and this kind of call to action to kind of represent, you know, your culture and to be a leader. I love Teresa. Main character of Dear White People, if you haven't seen it. She's just, I don't know, like in a way, I relate to her a lot, like at character-wise, like on a personal level, I really relate to her, you know, because, you know, to be educated, an educated woman, and want to be all these different things and be involved, and about how, I mean, like how everyone is expecting, in a way, kind of so much from you, you know, and, you know, especially when you openly voice your opinion, people expect so much out of you, like for you to be something, you know, when it's like, you know, you're not trying to be any of those things, you're just trying to be you. But as I've said before, the comment on, I mean, Black culture is just, I think that's the one reason why I think it's really important for African Americans to see it, to see like what he's trying to say. I don't think it's highly political, you know. Um, I think it's interesting though. I think the way that he tackles the race issue is interesting. I love the fact that there are no solutions because I don't think that there is. I think we like to think that there are solutions to racism, but I think the way that we have a limitation of the mind in that area. Um, Also, I also love the fact that it's like the comment on, I think in American culture we don't think that we're racist. I think even when we make inherently racist comments, we don't think that we're racist. I mean, I think the context in which you'll hear race talked about the most is in a comedic context, you know, like because we can't have a serious dialogue on race, which I mean is very shameful because there was a time in which, I mean, 50, 60 years ago, people were openly racist. You know, nowadays I think people are more covertly racist or, you know, don't really say it out loud, which I mean, I would. This is it. This movie inspired me to finally, I don't know, I guess post a video on YouTube. So, anyways, yes.